So, as I mentioned before, we have scalar quantities, which just have a magnitude or a size, no direction. We also have vectors. Vectors will be very common in physics, and they do lend important information. So a vector is a quantity that has a magnitude and a direction. Things such as position, displacement, velocity, and that is a key difference. Many times people are told that speed and velocity are the same thing. They are close. Speed is a scalar, it has no direction. Velocity is a vector, it does. Vectors will have an arrow over the top of the variable, as we can see here with position. That arrow indicates that we're talking about a vector, and you will either be given a direction or need to determine one. The direction that's attached is put in square brackets. We could have the compass directions, northeast, southwest, up, down, forward, really whatever makes sense. So one thing that gets confusing is the difference between displacement and distance. I have here the picture of a cyclist. He's at an intersection right here, and he's away from the intersection at these 2 points. If we talk about the cyclist traveling from this point to this point, that is his displacement. He has moved 115 meters to the east. If we talk about either of these here, those are his position. He is 223 meters to the west of the intersection, or he is 338 meters to the west of the intersection. As we go through the course, we will talk more about the differences between vectors and scalars. What is important right now is that you understand that a vector has a direction attached to it. So as you can see on this slide, we have an equation that is very similar to the average speed equation. But we now have vector arrows on V and on delta D. That's to indicate we're dealing with vectors. This is now the velocity average and the displacement average. The methods for dealing with vectors do not change. We just simply have to take into account that the direction does matter, and it will come into play sometimes in the beginning of the equation, sometimes in the middle, sometimes in the end. And the next example will show one of the places that is important.